When did you start writing songs?
You know, as soon as I started playing, you know, I bangs out a few notes. You know, but
Are most of the things that are on the 2 albums that are out like fairly recent?
well, you know, well, the first album stuff's a couple years old, I guess, 2.5 years old by now, 2, I guess. And the stuff on the second album is about the same. It's all within about a 2-year span, I think.
Do you write like consistently? I mean, like you'll do a song, say, pretty much, you know, at a regular interval, or does it just happen in bursts?
At one time, before things change. It's like I was telling this cat from the paper yesterday. The closer you get to like an edge, you know, it's like people in your life. It's like you're close, you're near or farther away from like this edge, you know, and it's like the closer you get to this edge, the more it's like the manic intensity tends to show more. Like on the first album, well, where I was living and the people I was living with, and I was living 3 flights up over this drugstore downtown in Asbury. You know, I didn't have a band, I didn't have a job, and I didn't have any money, you know, and I was living like $1 a day, you know, for some chick was helping me out, you know, and so you tend the first album was all written in this, you know, in this room I had there, you know, and that's all I did because that's all I had, you know, that's all that was there, that's all there was to do, to live for, to do anything for, you know, and so I was knocking out songs a lot, you know, because like I said, you're closer to that edge, and it's
yeah, that's something that a lot of people have said, like James Taylor said, you know, now things are going so well after Sweet Baby James said, I don't know if I can write anymore. Do you think that you get stuff out of conflict?
Well, yeah, it's like it's you know, it seems to be like I haven't had quite that problem, but it definitely changes your whole situation, you know. It's like, and it's like now it's not like, you know, like we get a salary, you know, and you know, I have a place to live, and I don't have to worry about rent, you know, as long as we play, you know. And I have a band. See, I have releases now, where like before you don't have any releases. Like I didn't have a band, and I wasn't playing, so there's no release, you know. So all the release tends to come in the song, you know. And I wasn't even playing the songs out in public. I would just write them, and that would be it. You know, that would be it. Period. I would write them, you know, and they would be there on the paper, you know, and in the music. And so you have no release. There's no release, and that comes across, you know, like the tension. It comes across in the tension of the music. Like there's a, and that I think could be the main difference between the first album and the second album, outside of the obvious superficial differences of more instruments and maybe a little more melodic sounding. You know, the second album was, but the main difference is like there's a certain tension, you know, in some of the things on the first album, you know, that switched around and became like a groove, you know, like more of a groove on the second album, you know, and you know, it's something that you have to be in that, you have to live it, you know, you have to live it, and you can't fake it, and you can't get it out of, you know, something, you know, it's like you can't, you know, get water from a stone. If it's there, it's there, you know.
Yeah, from what happened, I mean, it was pretty hard to ignore the audience last night once you got started, but do you really work off the energy you get from the audience? Because it seemed to me like the first 3 or 4 songs last night, you really, I mean, you were putting out more than you were getting back, you know. And I'm wondering, like, if you could do a whole show like that, or whether you have to eventually start getting something back from the audience, or else your performance is going to suffer. Because this changes, you know, for different artists.
It depends. It's like, we'll come out, you know, and we'll do some acoustic things first, you know. It depends on the way, you know, on the audience, you know. If it's a really aggressive audience, sometimes we'll get a real aggressive audience that, you know, just wants it all right there, right now, you know. Now, that's all they know. Now, you know. And you run into audiences that say, well, little bit now, you know, and all of it later, you know. And so it depends. It depends. Like there's certain situations where like we've played to an audience that is simply not in tune at all to what you're doing, you know. Like last night's crowd was you know, very enthusiastic crowd, you know, and you know, it was a great crowd, you know. It was a good crowd, and but occasionally, you know, walls can get built, you know. Like you'll come out and the chemistry isn't right, or something isn't right, the energy situation isn't right. Like I said, the audience is jumping all over you, you know.
Yeah.
Or and it'll erect a wall, you know, and it's hard to get through, you know, and you know, and usually in those cases, it's, you know, the people aren't interested enough to make it happen anyway, so it doesn't matter, you know. But like in a case like last night, where
I don't think you're gonna have any problems.
no, it was you know, I was really impressed, you know, because like, you know, I'm from Jersey, you know, I mean that's a long ways away, and I've never been here before, you know, I've never been in Houston before, and you know, the band, you know, really felt good about it, you know, really felt good about the situation. You know?
Yeah. Well,
and yeah, it's like, you know, it's something that, you know, it makes it pushes you to do your best, you know, to put out, to you know, to be honest, you know, and to do your best. You know, it was a nice situation. I'd like to thank everybody who was there, if anybody's listening.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd probably like to thank you too if they could get through. You guys said something about that you wanted to get out of here, you know, a little bit of a hurry. So I just like to tell everybody that you're going to do another 3 nights at Liberty Hall.
Yeah.
Have you got some more songs written for a new album?
Yeah, I'm working on it now. You know, it's like you know, like I want to make sure it's, you know, something different. You know, and I'm sure it's a step, you know, frontwards. You know, and it's like as you go along. I don't know if it gets more difficult or what, but you know, it's like blocks, man. It's like you got your first block and your second one, then you got to, you know, put something on top of that, you know. It gets higher, a little higher each time. And I have some ideas, you know, some things as soon as we get some time. Like that was the main thing that's changed. Like I said, the period of the second album was like we've been working, you know, we've been out on the road, traveling and playing all the time, you know. And
that's going to, if nothing else, change a little bit of your material.
That does, you know. It's like I try not to, you know, I try not to get into, well, I'm in Houston, and I'm at the Holiday Inn, getting you know, holiday grins, you know. You know, I try not to get into too much of that, you know.
That's been done, right?
Yeah, you know, it's like, yeah.
Well, all right. For anybody that didn't get enough last night, and I know a lot of people that got a lot last night but didn't get enough, Bruce Springsteen and band will be back at Liberty Hall for 3 more nights, and then up in Austin next weekend.
Yeah.
And so you got plenty of chances to see him. Bruce Springsteen with us at 101. Thank you a lot for coming by.
Oh,
and,
thank you.
Everybody knows where to find you tonight and through the weekend.